these might actually be a really good stocking stuffer. I don't know. I have to get in the review to see. Hello toy fans, I'm here with another one of our toy openings. Today I'm looking at these three particular robots from your action hero. Now these are a Dollar Tree, pretty much exclusive. I don't think I've ever seen them anywhere else. They're all coming in at $1.25 now with the Dollar Tree price hike, so we know that they're pretty inexpensive. What I'd kind of like to do with these, I'd like to open them up, see how they are, and maybe compare them to our Final Faction toys, which are also through Greenbriar distribution. Now, Greenbriar distribution is the main toy distribution for, of course, Dollar Tree. So we'll kind of have to get in and see how these work. Now they do come in red, green, and blue, and there's no distinction about, if they're a particular type of robot or anything like that. It's just robot. Robot with movable parts. With these, they're running 3 and up, though I kind of wonder about these small parts, if that's really the case or not, if it should be a little bit higher, but they're running 3 and up. Now, they all come on the same type card. The only thing that's different is the bubble, and it feels more like it's just been vacuum formed on them. With these, looking on the back, you've got collect them all, green, red, and blue. Pretty much what we already have, and they are distributed by Greenbriar International Inc., which is the company we were talking about earlier. Now each one has the same thing as far as how the package works. There's nothing really too particularly different about any of them. They're all exactly, the same. They're the only thing that really differs on these is the actual robot. So we need to get these out and get to playing. And straight out of the package, this is what we've got. These are 3 robots with their accessories. And the accessories don't really necessarily show anything like one in particular, one has a certain piece or another. And the parts themselves are not repeated, so it's, it's kind of hard to distinguish. Now, on the back of the card, we do get, some picture of the parts, but, those kind of pieces, they're hard to tell exactly what goes to what. So with these, they could probably be mix matched easily. Now each one comes with a rifle and some sort of a back piece, okay? So, and they're kind of done in a gray plastic. And each figure has these, colorful robot parts, and then you've got these kind of ball jointed feet things. Now, everything on this is essentially a ball joint. And it's made in kind of a softer plastic that allows it to be almost modular in a way. You can pop these off, you could probably put them onto something else, which makes this kind of cool. The only thing that's not modular is the head, and that's on a swivel. Everything else is done in a ball joint. So if they're playing and go, oh no, you got a foot taken off, you can do that. For the most part, the figures feel actually fairly hefty. They don't feel very cheap at all. Let's go down to the articulation. So you've got the swivel head, you have a ball jointed arm, and there is some limited range on there, okay? So it'll go all the way up, all the way over, but it can roll out about that far, going about that far. With the legs, you have ball jointed hips here, but there is some problems as far as getting your figure to sit. You're gonna get to sit about that far. You have some ball jointed knees, which allows the knee to move back about that far, and then a ball jointed foot that's really there just to kind of make the foot sit and keep the figure stable. Now the feet for the most part are fairly flat, so this thing, if this poses out, you can kind of pose it out that way, and the feet are going to keep it more or less from toppling over. Now everything on this figure is pretty much pegged, so you could peg this into his hand. It could be, I guess, some sort of rocket blaster. I'm not exactly sure what this is. I feel like this was meant to turn this way as like some sort of ray gun, but instead it pegs in like so. So Not actually sure what that's for, but I mean, it's okay. You also have this rifle, and the rifle is basically set on a basic peg. So that pegs into hand, pegs into this hand as well, and there's enough room there to let it kind of move around. You could also, if you needed to, peg it onto the back, I believe. Let's see, is that peg in? Yeah. You can peg it into the back for a weapon storage as well. Or, if they so incline, though it doesn't go across all the way over, so that's one thing to keep in mind. What I like about these weapons, they have a very cool sci-fi look to them. These would be really good for toy customizers to cast and make into different weapons for their figures. I dig that. We got the red. Let's take a look at that green. Green again, same thing. Swivel head. This one has, I was going to say I thought it had a little bit more room. This one does have a better range of movement for the legs. Look at that. With the thighs not being hindered at all, those legs go all the way up. And this one has a lot more movement in the legs. Also with the foot and the knee portions. This also has this little piece here that looks almost like some sort of light. Snaps it on his back. And this really, really cool kind of laser rifle. That's nice. Let's take a look at the blue. The blue's our last one. So we, of course, got that swivel head. The same range and articulation. This one also has a lot better thighs with the legs being able to push out a lot further. Just cool. This one also has a little bit more movement in the knees than the other. And the same with the foot. This has what looks like some sort of like missile launcher or like cluster launcher. And it's a flat piece. So that pegs into the back. Can move that forward. I guess you can rotate that any way you wanted to. And this one's got a pretty interesting weapon too. That also, what I like about this one, it almost feels like a pistol for a 12-inch figure, because it's got a trigger well in there as well. I can imagine this being used for some 12-inch G.I. Joes. I mean, so far pretty interesting. Not bad. And here they are next to some of the Final Faction and our Greenbriar Soldier action figures we've had in the past. And for the most part, I mean, they don't stand like head to head, but they have enough of the same height difference here, or like they're close to the same height, that in all honesty, they could probably work in the same line. And the weapons, they're a little loose for our Final Faction figures. Not gonna necessarily fit in their hands. They're gonna be kind of meant for the robot. Like with military figures, again, you know, the military figures and Final Faction are close to the same height. These robots are just a tad bit shorter, and don't really have the same like weapon hold. I mean, there's some of it that feels like it could be kind of similar. Like you could, you know, treat the robots as a type of drone, but for the most part, they're not going to be the same. So it's like one of those where I could see them being used in play, but I could also see them not necessarily seeming like they fit. Like all in all, for the price that we're getting, they're pretty good. It's not like, you know, we're at a loss and we're not getting like high quality stuff at the price. I mean, the price that we're getting these at $1.25 for each figure is really good. And the thing is, you can find these on shelves. It's not like, you know, they're kind of missing. Some stores have them, some don't. But for the most part, you go over to the toy aisle, you're going to find probably at least one of them. And the quality themselves are actually pretty cool. I like the idea of being able to pop joints out of place and make these a little more modular. They kind of fit with some of the play of the figures in that they are similar in height with one another, so you could actually have these play with the other figures from the other Greenbriar's lines. And you know, there's some aspects of it that these work on their own, as far as, you know, being just robot play and having 3 in a line. So you could probably have a ton of robot adventures as is, or maybe have cross-play where you play them with some of the other figure lines, like the military figures or even the Final Faction toys, and you're able to come up with something. You know, the imagination for these are definitely key. Now that's all I gotta say about the robots line from Greenbriar Toys over at Dollar Tree. Remember, they're not dolls. In this case, they're modular style robot action figures. When I'm not recording videos here on YouTube, I'm actually over on a podcast on marvindogmedia.com called Talking Toys with Taylor and Jeff. It's a really cool toy podcast. Be sure to check it out. Also, I need your help getting my YouTube channel to grow. Be sure to subscribe down below with that big red button. Hit that bell for notifications so you can be alerted of anything that comes from me to you. Like this video, it helps YouTube know that you like what I'm making, and comment down below. I like chatting with you all.